Hello and welcome back. Let us try to understand probability distributions. There are many types of distributions: binomial, multinomial, uniform, Poisson, normal, and more. For a data scientist or machine learning engineer, normal distribution is most important, and we will touch upon binomial distribution also. So let us try to understand what is data distribution before we understand probability distribution. So with an example, I'll try to explain that. What is data distribution? I have taken a simple data set of students and the food items distributed. Suppose that it is your birthday and you are distributing chocolates, biscuits, and ice creams. The student 1, you have distributed 2 chocolates and 2 biscuits. For student 2, 2 ice creams and 1 biscuit. For student 3, maybe student 2, 2 chocolates, 1 biscuit and 2 ice creams. And student 3, 3 chocolates and 1 ice cream. If you want to understand the data, or how the items were distributed, then this is total count of each food item distributed to the students. So the biscuits, chocolates, and ice creams are the items, and the count is the distribution of how many biscuits were distributed, how many chocolates were distributed, and how many ice creams were distributed. You can actually visually see the same using a bar graph. On x-axis I have taken the food items, on y-axis I have taken the counts. Similarly, if you want to understand how many food items each student has got, immaterial of whether it is a biscuit or chocolate or ice cream, how many food items each student has got, if you want to understand, then you may have to do a table like this, or a group by kind of operation on the data set like this. Student 1 has got 4 items, student 2 has got 5 items, student 3 has got 4 items. So you can actually visually see the same thing with a bar graph. I am saying these two are bar graphs because on x-axis I have taken categories. If you look at the student number and the item, these two are categorical columns. If you can count the distinct values in a column, you call that as a categorical column. In the first column, only 3 students are there. Student 1, student 2, student 3. You can count. On the second column, we have got 3 items: chocolates, biscuits, and ice creams, distinct items. So you call them as categorical columns. On x-axis, if you take categories, and y-axis you take counts, then you call it as bar graph. So in the visually looking at the graph actually makes more sense, because if you have huge volume of data, then visually looking at data is more important or easier to understand rather than numerically understanding. So we have visually seen, or we have actually tried to understand what is data distribution here. I'll try to show how exactly these graphs were generated, or these group by operations were done on the table. Let us jump back to the Jupyter notebook and understand that. So I have imported pandas, NumPy, and Matplotlib. We have seen examples of doing visualization using Matplotlib in pandas classes. So let us try to import these 3 modules, and then I have created a data set here with student 1, student 2, and student 3 data, and the chocolates, biscuits, and ice creams you have distributed to the students. So to create that, I need to execute this cell also, and if I look at the data, it looks like this. And then we can actually take the I am trying to understand the distribution of food items each student has got, or how many food items each student has got. So I am taking a small data set from the original data set. The original data set has got 3 columns. I am taking a new data set with student number and count. To actually take a new data set, I need to pass a list of column names. So I have passed list of column names here. It created a small data set, and then on that data set I am applying group by condition. When I apply group by condition, it is going to create a group by object there. But when I use the aggregate function in either SQL or pandas, when you apply group by condition, nothing happens until and unless you apply aggregate function like sum, maximum, minimum, average, these kinds of functions. So I am applying sum because for each student, how many food items he or she has got. I wanted to understand. So I applied a group by condition on the sub data frame of the original data frame, and then grouped by student number and summing the counts. So this table is going to be like this. And to visualize this, I can actually use plot method. This is actually a data frame. And then, on a data frame, we can actually do a bar chart, and that can be done like this. So on the data frame, we have got plot method, and we can specify the kind is equal to bar, and rotation is equal to 0, which is actually the label rotation. So I'll show what is that rotation thing. And color is equal to y. We are actually trying to get yellow colored bars there. And x label actually gives you the label on x-axis. The student number label is created using x label, and y label creates a y label on count on the y-axis, and xticks is actually another method from Matplotlib, which actually tries to specify the fonts and other things on the x-axis and y-axis, xticks and yticks. When I execute this, I got that graph. Okay, so if you specify rotate is equal to 45, see this, the x labels have got rotated to 45 degrees angle. If you specify 90, they get rotated to 90 degrees. So I don't want to rotate them. In some cases we may have to rotate because the string is big. It is going to occupy too much space on x-axis. So if you rotate it to 90 degrees, it's going to be more clearly visible. So that is that's how you do the visualization on the distribution. How many food items each student has got. That visualization can be done like this. And the second thing is how many items got distributed, how many biscuits got distributed, how many chocolates got distributed, and how many ice creams have got distributed. To understand that, we need to take another small data frame and then group by it, and then sum it, right? So when I sum it, I have got this table, and visualization is same. Same code can be copied here. So rotation here, 0 I specified, but if I specify 90, it may actually look more neat. See that biscuits, chocolates, and ice creams have got 90 degrees angle there. So that's about the data distributions and how to actually visualize using the code. Thank you.